Hey, what is up, guys? It's Master Cake here, and once again, audio hates me, my setup hates me, but this time it's going to be about Soldier 76 versus McCree, because I have seen a lot of videos over the past few weeks of why Soldier 76 is better than McCree, and why McCree has fallen out of the meta. There's a very obvious reason for it, and there's obviously something that I'm going to talk about later, is pretty much just aim and skill cap. But let's say, for example, me. I suck at hit scan heroes. I'm not that great, but I can do somewhat decent with 76. He does not require too much aim because he has so many rounds, and also his spread's not that bad, and it doesn't require as much precise accuracy to get the hits. So I can still do pretty well at Soldier 76 to get play the games, sometimes carry the team if I'm on a bad team, if I need to, and me playing Soldier 76 would be better than me playing any other hero. He might not put out as much damage as McCree, but over time he does do a lot more. He has a healing factor, he survives longer thanks to that. He sprints, he can survive longer thanks to that. That makes him more viable than McCree in a sense, especially at the lower levels and even at the higher levels, because if you don't have a good McCree who can land those headshots and get that high damage hits like he needs to, and knows when to flashbang, knows how to get behind them, he will not be able to do that much because his aim requires so much more precision than Soldier 76, which is why that Soldier 76 is more useful than McCree, because even a bad hit scan hero playing as a hit scan player can play as Soldier 76 and still be useful to the team, while a bad McCree just completely screws over the team and not putting out any damage like he should be. This is why for a long time that, especially after Soldier got his buff, that McCree has been totally useless. Unless the McCree knows what the heck they're doing and they can hit every shot out of the 6 shots they have, they will not be able to make up for the amount of damage that a Soldier 76 can do. And as a Soldier 76, I put out just as much damage as McCree when you put into account the amount of rounds I have, my Helix rockets, which is the big factor as well, and my sustain is much better than his. He just has a roll, while with Soldier 76, actually, let's look at their kits entirely. Soldier 76, he can sprint, allowing him to move faster than McCree. His healing allows him to heal himself and anybody who's within that circle, allowing him to survive longer than McCree. And then his Helix rockets do a huge chunk of burst damage if they hit the target. And his ultimate is faster locking on than McCree's is. Now let's look at McCree's everything. His weapon only has 6 shots in it. Those shots are powerful, but it takes so long to shoot them, and it takes so long for him to reload that sometimes you may think, well, if I took a Soldier 76, I'd be shooting more, I'd be doing more damage right now. Right, and with those 6 shots, yes, he's powerful, but unless that McCree has really good aim, they're not going to be able to do much for the team in that way. While his other abilities, like his roll is not very useful because it only takes him maybe about a meter, and that's if he doesn't hit a wall first, and he only rolls a bit. And even then, I've seen Widowmakers headshot him in that state before. And his flashbang, yes, that's a stun move, but if you don't land that correctly, it's pretty much useless. And if you don't kill the person after you flashbang him, especially if it's like a Tracer, who people like Stylos think that McCree should be able to deal with Tracer, which because of his how precise his aim is why he's such a high skill cap DPS, because it takes so much aim to get those headshots that you need to get to manage to kill the enemy. You can put in as much damage as you want. Like when I play as McCree, I aim at tanks because I know I can't hit the tiny hitboxes of any other hero. But his flashbang could stun them, and if I'm lucky and my twitchiness is good enough, I flick over and shoot them in the head, or I do enough damage to them to the way they can't really do anything. Or if they're a tank, I fan the hammer. And if you look at both those abilities, Soldier has more sustain. He has more. Oh, forgot about McCree's ultimate. His ultimate is just like 76 is a lock on, but his takes longer. It doesn't just aim at everything in the area. You have to wait for the red circle to zoom in, and not only that, you glow like a beacon, and you say it's high noon and very loudly, and then like as soon as people hear that, you can turn to him, and then you hope that he doesn't have a lock on you yet, And if you aim fast enough as another McCree, as a Widowmaker, or if your entire team starts putting pressure on him, he'll die before he can even let off that high noon, making it more useless. While Soldier 76's, he can shoot that thing, like he can activate it, but he can move around. He moves just as fast as he normally would. He just shoots, he fires helix rockets, he lights up your team, and if your team's full of squishies, they will die unless they're behind a shield or behind some kind of cover. While McCree's ultimate, it's powerful, but that's if he's able to flank, and even then, if he flanks and they don't see him and he only kills a few of them, which is fine, and your team doesn't push in fast enough to cover for him being behind them is going to get him killed immediately, thereby taking him out of the game. Like a really good Widowmaker will be able to hear where it's coming from, see him, and lock on a headshot and shoot him before he's even able to let off the high noon to kill her. So that's probably why there's a big difference. The skill cap, like you can be more useful as a Soldier 76 with all your utilities and your ultimate than McCree with all of his utilities and an ultimate. So in turn, Soldier 76 is more viable in the entire game because he does not require as much skill, but he puts out as much damage as McCree when you look at all of his abilities. And it's easier to play, meaning you're actually able to kill somebody with Soldier 76. While with McCree, if you don't have that aim right off the start, you're gonna be sitting there just shooting at a wall. And so you're not gonna be able to put in enough damage, and even if you are, you'll be shooting at tanks. And most of the tanks, if you let them heal up, like if it's Roadhog you're shooting into, he's gonna heal up, which is gonna get him his ult faster. If you're shooting at another tank that can't heal themselves, Mercy, Lucio, Zenyatta, or Ana will get the ults faster, thereby making it easier for your team to get destroyed by them. So, if you look at all that information, Soldier is more viable than McCree, but that's the reason. McCree is such a high skill cap, and his aim requires so much precision that you sometimes don't want to risk it in a high skill game like in comp or even in quick play or comp or arcade or whatever. You don't want to risk not being able to kill somebody because the McCree thinks might have the aim, but you don't know if they will have the aim, or you don't know how the other team's going to play. Like if their team has all barriers, his 6 shots are not going to be able to do enough to take down that barrier fast enough because he won't put out enough damage fast enough to do that. If the other team has like maybe one shield or has like a Diva and a Roadhog, and then everything else is squishies, then that McCree has the aim, then he's more viable. But in most situations, he's not because of how slow he shoots. All of his abilities can't let him survive long enough to use his ultimate or anything. So, in turn, Soldier, all of his stuff put together, when you look at them side by side, Soldier's better than McCree. Somebody who's not as good at hit scan can play Soldier and still be useful to the team, but if that same person went to McCree and they could not hit a shot, they could not flashbang people right, they could not use their roll correctly to reload or whatever, they will not be as useful in the game. And I would like to know what other people think, because this has been talked about before, and that's the reason McCree's not in the game as much. So unless they buff McCree in a way that won't change him dramatically and make him more viable, either make him reload faster, make him shoot faster, maybe, I don't know what they could do to him, have him move faster when he's ulting, maybe not make his ult as loud, or maybe not have him glow or something, make him survive longer unless they want to change how his hit scan works, which is going to be almost impossible. So there's a point where you're going to have to decide, do you want to put out a lot of damage and maybe miss more shots than you're going to hit, or do you want to put out slightly less damage or the same amount of damage over a longer period of time with Helix with a good ultimate? These are things that you have to take into consideration when you're playing either one of these heroes, because it will be almost impossible for a low skill hit scan player like me to play a McCree. But if I hop on a Soldier 76, I am more useful to the team. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and hopefully the next video I'll actually have some audio and the game won't screw me over, my capture won't screw me over. So we'll have a much better video for you guys next week. See you then.